The city was loud, but his life was quiet. His name was Ali. His pockets were empty. Not just empty, but embarrassing empty. No extra cash, no backup plan, no rich family, just a tired heart and a stubborn dream. Every morning, Ali walked past tall buildings and expensive cars. He saw people laughing, living easy lives, holding phones that cost more than his monthly income. Then he looked at himself. Simple clothes, old shoes, a phone with a cracked screen. Sometimes he wondered, is this all my life will ever be? But even on his worst days, one thing never changed. Ali was broke, but he was not broken. Ali lived in a small room with peeling paint and a noisy fan. At night, when the world slept, he stayed awake, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. He worked during the day, he learned at night. While others were scrolling, he was studying. While others were sleeping, he was planning. Some days he was so tired he could barely keep his eyes open. Some nights he felt like quitting, and sometimes he did cry, not because he was weak, but because he was human. People around him didn't understand. They said, "Why do you work so hard? Look at you, you're still broke." Some laughed, some ignored him, some told him to be realistic. Ali smiled on the outside, but inside, those words hurt a lot. Still, he kept going, because he knew something they didn't. Money can be missing, energy can be low, hope can feel far away, but if your spirit is alive, you are never finished. One evening, Ali stood outside a small restaurant. He checked his pocket. He had just enough money for one cheap meal. He was hungry, really hungry, but instead of going in, he walked away. He told himself, "I'll eat later. Right now, I need to invest in my future." That night, he went back to his room and opened his notebook. He wrote goals. He wrote plans. He wrote promises to himself. Not big, fancy promises, simple ones. I will not quit. I will get better every day. I will change my life. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Nothing magical happened. No sudden success. No viral moment. No overnight miracle. Just work. Slow, hard, sometimes painful work. He failed many times. He made mistakes. He doubted himself. But every time he fell, he stood up a little stronger, a little wiser, a little tougher. One day, someone finally noticed his work. Then another. Then another. Opportunities didn't come like a flood. They came like drops. Small, quiet, but powerful. Ali didn't celebrate too early. He stayed focused because he remembered how it felt to be broke, and he never wanted to go back to being broken. Years later, Ali stood in a place he once only imagined. His life wasn't perfect, but it was better, much better. He wasn't rich overnight, but he was proud. Proud of the nights he didn't quit. Proud of the days he kept going. Proud of the boy who refused to give up. He looked at his reflection and smiled, and he whispered to himself, "I was broke, but I was